Why don't you just tell the listeners what you've been doing since your retirement from mixed martial arts?
Oh man, I've been keeping busy. I had MMA Uncensored on Spike TV last year. I'm working on another show with Spike right now. I launched my comic book, Zombie Cage Fighter, available at zombiecagefighter.com. And as always, I'm working with people suffering from degenerative back diseases and trying to help them find the help that they need. So I stay real busy, and especially being a single father, that keeps me very busy.
Let's just talk about your retirement. Was it a difficult choice to make?
Man, retiring, especially from fighting or any sports, is very difficult. You know that never again are you going to have 20, 30,000 people cheering your name as you go out to work. And for me, I knew once I retired, I was never coming back. I'm not that good. I can't take a couple years off and come back like Randy or something. I knew it would be a decline from day one. So once I said those words, I'm never fighting in the cage again, that had to be the end for me. That was very difficult. I retired live on Spike TV and broke down crying because fighting has been such a big part of my life. Literally everything in my life other than my daughter has come from fighting. All my friends that I have. And it's been such a huge thing. And now to say, that's it for me. Never going to do it again. It was heartbreaking.
There's a lot of talk right now about a pending Chris Weidman retirement. Where'd you stand on that? Do you think Chris still has what it takes to keep his MMA career going farther?
Well, I think Weidman has a lot of really good skills. He's very gifted with a lot of things that no matter how hard you train, you're not going to have Weidman's chin, you're not going to have his jaw, and you're not going to have his heart. He's got all those things. I think for him to extend his career more than anything, he would need to just go back to basics and start training some of the skills that he never really developed. When he started training, it was basically with us at Team Quest, and the word of the day was spar hard. But you see these gyms that they become very successful because they've got very tough guys. But when you get to the top level, everyone is tough. But now they're skilled as well. So if I was to sit down with Weidman and say, hey, we're going to make another shot at this, we'd be focusing on developing those basic skills of head movement, forward pressure, working his takedowns, really utilizing skills and a game plan that would allow his career to move on.
One major issue in mixed martial arts, I think, that's not really discussed that much is concussions. It's a big topic in NFL right now. Where'd you stand on the concussions? A lot of concussions, I think, happen in training during sparring session. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, concussions all the time in sparring because one of the things that the guys do is they need to show how tough they are at every practice. And you've got it. When I started training, it was at Straight Blast Gym with Matt Thornton, who was 6'8", times 260, 230, and he would just beat the crap out of us. And he wasn't even wearing sparring gloves. He was wearing 8, 10, 12-ounce bag gloves. You get these guys that they just want to be gym superstars. They're not looking at a career in the cage. And when I started reading about from the books from the Nevada State Athletic Commission, talking about how the best boxers, they don't spar every day. They work on skill development, and they'll spar once a week, maybe once every couple weeks, because they know that they're very limited. Your body can only take so much grinding, and especially concussions. I think you need to have one, so you know what it's like, so when you're fighting, you can realize, okay, I got hit really hard, I've got a concussion, I've been through this. After that, you never need another one. It's only going to get worse. You see guys that lose their chin. They can't take punches half the strength of what they used to be able to take. You've really got to protect those things. And think of the long term. Think of your longevity. That's what got me out of fighting was I want to be able to take care of my grandkids. I want to be able to remember what I did yesterday. And that's not going to happen if you're taking these beatings day in and day out.
Yeah, for sure. We spoke with George Roop a few months back, and he was telling me how he used to spar 5 times a week, and he had to stop because he was getting these headaches. And since he's gone down to sparring just once a week, the headaches have stopped.
Yeah, and that's funny because guys just, they don't equate headaches with concussion. Well, a concussion is your brain is bruised. It bounced against your skull. It had an electrical short. Only time is going to solve that. And you'll see guys that get dinged in sparring or get dropped or even get knocked out. Well, they fight the next day. They fight the next week. These are things that are going to lead to such a downfall. That's why the more that we can do to regulate fighting, the more it's going to be. Better it's going to be. I'm telling you, it's like crazy loud here. I'm walking to the San Diego Comic Book Convention right now, and it's just people screaming and running all over.
Nice. Okay, man, so what was your reaction to Anderson Silva getting knocked out last weekend?
You know, I think that it was kind of a case of what did Bane say to Batman? Something like success has been your enemy.
Right.
He's been winning so long, so easily, that he thinks that he can play and he can get away with these things. And then you fight somebody that's really going to test you. And it's been such a long time since you've really had to dig down deep. So you don't know how to take it. When I fought Rich Franklin, I had won 5 or 6 fights in a row fairly easily. And so when he starts beating on me, you can see almost a look of shock on my face where I'm thinking, wait a minute, this isn't how it's supposed to be. I win all my fights easily. Yeah. Well, and then when Rich fights Anderson Silva, you see that same look on his face. But wait a minute, I just knocked out Nate Quarry and I beat David Loaso. What's going on? It shouldn't be this hard. And it takes you a minute to reset and realize, okay, great, I've got to dig down deep. And if you've got somebody who's really aggressive, they're not going to give you that chance. And I think that's where Anderson really got kind of caught up in his own legacy, as it were.
Okay, Nate, lots of mixed martial arts on TV nowadays. Tons of great promotions out there. Do you think the market's oversaturated?
In a lot of ways, I do think it's oversaturated, especially if you look at The Ultimate Fighter. There's not that many great unsigned guys out there anymore. It used to be, well, season 1, that's 16 of us. We all know who each other were because we've been fighting for years and we've been training hard. And now you get these guys that have never even fought professionally or saw it on TV, and that's what they want to do. They don't have a heart for it. They don't have the taste for it. They just want to be famous, and they think it's the key to getting women and making millions of dollars. Dude, join a band. It is way easier, and you meet a lot more women. You can party, and that's a part of your mystique. But as a fighter, it's way too hard if you're doing it for any reason other than you love fighting.
I appreciate the time, Nate. One last question before we let you go. What was your defining moment in your career?
My defining moment, the most important fight of my career was my rematch against Pete Sell. I had just come back from having a spinal fusion back surgery. I had left Team Quest. I'd gone through a custody battle for my daughter. It's been 22 months since I fought my last fight against Rich Franklin, getting knocked out. And now here I am fighting live on Spike TV against Pete Sell, who's already in a bad mood, who wants to beat me, got Matt Serra in his corner. And I knew if I didn't deliver, if I didn't win that fight, all my dreams died. I was literally fighting for food money. And the beating that he gave me in the second round when he hit me with the Superman punch and just knocked something loose, and I said, you know what, this is my chance. If I don't come back and win, all my dreams die. And then the third round, I was able to put things together and just hit him as hard as I possibly could and win the fight. And I can tell my daughter that day is the most important day in our lives because that's what made everything else possible. And I honestly believe there's nothing special about me. I wasn't raised boxing. I didn't wrestle. All I had was a desire to be successful. I wasn't afraid to fail, and I wasn't afraid to take a beating. And all too often we have people with this attitude of entitlement, thinking that the world owes them something or this laziness to go on top of it. I'm going to go out and I'm going to fight as hard as I possibly can, no matter what it is. And I think if you have that attitude, no matter what it is in life, you're going to be successful.
Thanks for taking the time again. And is there anything you'd like to promote before we let you go? Throw out your Twitter.
Yeah, my Twitter is Nate Quarry. My website is zombiecagefighter.com. You can go and buy the coolest shirts around. It's a combination of MMA, zombies, and even surfing. You can get the comic. It's really the story of my life plus zombies. So you can't go wrong. It's been featured on Kevin Smith's Comic Book Man, Spike TV, G4. I've got people from around the world buying my comic. It's just such an exciting thing to have people doing that. It makes me really excited to have something like that.
Awesome. Thanks again, man.
Cool, buddy. Thank you.